I sometimes forget to put the stank on it when I speak it in Spanish. That's my fault. I know
Yes.
better. My grandma, my grandpa would be very upset with the way I pronounce things now.
Yes, so the Spanish lesson of today, it's pronounced hechicero, not hechicero, not habanero.
Habanero. Do you remember that?
Jalapeno.
I know we're rolling, and this is bad product placement. I had to check now. Do you remember the McDonald's commercial where they were trying to go all urban, quote unquote, and they had that spice it up with some jalapenos commercial?
Jalapenos.
Right? And I remember the casting call for this because I want to say I was in Chicago at the time. And it was quite literally, they said everything they could without trying to be racist, and it just made it even more racist. He's a young guy, urban, Latino, loves life, works outside a lot. I was like, what are you doing? And like, the quote that they put was quite literally the most like, spice it up with some jalapenos. And they just threw like this weird tinge on it. And that ran on the radio forever. And every time I heard it, all of my Latin friends and Mexican friends were like, I hate this guy so much. Because it's obviously a white guy going, hey, be sure to spice it up with some jalapenos. I was like, oh my God.
All right, Daddy Magic, calm down. Anyway, that's exactly how Matt Menard speaks on commentary. But speaking of spiciness, hola and bienvenidos to the soap opera that is the Friday Night Faction Review, your weekly WWE Smackdown review team. You could tell that all three of us have not been in the same room in quite some time together.
It's been a long time.
It is, and I've missed this crew because this is like really great to end/start the whole week. But I am one of your hosts, Mikey. I go by El Jefe around the BC Wrestle Pod part. I am the man with half the plan and the face that somewhat runs the place. And joining me this lovely week for WWE SmackDown, first and foremost, you can find him all over the Dynamite Review, as well as being the source of all of our blooper reels, which is so fun. But the Professor, I have missed you. I missed you on Dynamite this week because I had so many things to say about Brian Keith, and I was sad that I was not there because
I was gonna say
Spicy Mikey would have made an appearance.
We were invoking your name once we were talking about that whole segment from another promotion. But you got to go to the taping. We get to talk about that eventually, and that's fantastic. And I was saying this before we started. I was away from WWE land for a while, not too long. I was trying to keep up where I could. I obviously have my issues with the behind the scenes things, which I don't think we'll get into because we need a whole other day and a half of podcasting for that. So I have some thoughts and some issues. So there's some things that are hard for me to watch knowing what I know. And of course, going to Saudi Arabia, where we all have our opinions on as well. If you watch SmackDown like a soap opera, it totally works. It's great. I was my grandma. Sat down with a drink and I watched my soaps. It was fantastic. The wrestling, though, was pretty good this week on SmackDown. I have some thoughts. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then, of course, what the whole internet's talking about, which is the whole, oh my God, they did it again thing, which we'll talk about when we get there. I kind of bought it. And at the last minute, I went, oh no, wait a second. And then it happened. And I went, you got me.
You got
Not entirely. Not entirely. Like I had the inkling of like, wait a minute, are they going to do the thing? I'm old enough to remember the thing. I wonder if they did the thing. All right. But yeah.
I can't wait to get there. And then, of course, our other lovely co-host, Minnie, Evan, whatever you want to call him. Like, sir, I've missed you this week.
I'm eating beef jerky circles. They're circles. It's weird, but they taste good.
Got to run that consistency. Minnie is I can't say anything because I was eating dinner in the middle of the ROH review, but
dude, I snack all the time on these things.
We're eating right now. We're working, people. It's the middle of the day.
It's the middle of the day for sure.
I'm always eating and I'm drinking my water, you know?
Yes.
It's hot here.
Hydrate or dihydrate, as the kids say. All right.
Is that what the kids say?
I mean, sure.
They don't say that where I'm at.
It's just
they just call me a bitch and run off.
Yeah, because you have a job where the kids hate you and they fight you.
Which is weird because I'm just doing my job. It's not my fault they're there.
That is also very, very fair. All right, so a bit of housekeeping before we dive into the SmackDown. Follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. Make sure to hit that bell notification. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTubes.
Are we just gonna do random syllables the whole time, just in the name of dialects and accents?
Why not? But hit that bell notification, hit the subscribe button to make sure that you follow this channel.
AJ Stiles, Cody Rhodes. Yeah, this is going to be great.
It is so fantastic. We BC WrestlePod across all the social medias. We also have audio podcast versions of all of these reviews as well. If you can't commit to watching our beautiful mugs every single week, you can take our voices with you on the go at whatever business you might be doing. You could be doing homework. You could be grading papers. You might be on a long road trip. You also might be Dexter, and this is your background noise for whatever you're doing in that basement.
We're a fan of your work. Please don't come for us. Continue.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, now I'm going to plug this. We got merch now, so click the link in the description below. We got some really fun designs, even though it is summer.
Official.
Rock a hoodie because everybody else does for some reason during the summer, too.
We're official. We have merch. Holy shit.
I live up in the High Sierra, almost High Sierra, borderline foothills, and it's triple digits in the mountains. There's folks walking around in sweatshirts. Like
Listen,
day to day.
Fashion is pain. You suffer for art, but not really.
My art is pain.
Yes.
I feel like there's a wrestler that has said that.
I mean,
Probably.
that is very fair. We review wrestling because this art can be painful sometimes. And this is exactly how I felt during our opening segment.
Yeah.
Not because of Nia Jax. I actually blame Chelsea, the whole... Anyways, let's start from the beginning.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So
ramp up into it.
We open SmackDown. Nick Aldis is in the ring. This is literally the same thing we did on Monday Night Raw this past week, where our general manager is in the ring with the crown. And this is the quote unquote coronation ceremony for the Queen of the Ring. So Nia Jax comes on down. She is the 2024 Queen of the Ring, beating Lyra Valkyria in the finals to get this crown and also to get a championship match against Bayley at SummerSlam, which I'm happy that the King and Queen of the Ring actually had stakes. The winner gets a championship match at SummerSlam. I'm like, baller. So we got 2 pay-per-views to get through before we get to build.
How Simon Miller calls it, I think he calls it Heat Mania.
Heat Mania.
Or something like that. WrestleMania Heat or something like that.
Well, I mean, WWE is trying to expand all these things because come 2026, SummerSlam is 2 nights now. I'm like, geez, what is happening?
Well, it's like Mini Mania, so.
It's a mini mania that is very fair. But Nia Jax comes on out. She gets the crown on her head. She places it there. Really cool, really happy. She cuts a quick promo. Just basically sets up that Bayley is going to get destroyed at SummerSlam.
But Bayley got destroyed anyways.
I mean, yeah, but that's her whole different.
She got jumped by a big Scottish woman in Chelsea Green.
Well, I mean, let's just get to it. Bayley comes out before she could say anything. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green just destroy her, and Chelsea and Piper get in Nia's face that Chelsea states that Bayley won't be a problem for SummerSlam because you're going to be facing Piper. Which I was like, no, that is not what's happening. Don't lie to me. Bayley keeps getting consistently disrespected and jumped.
Yeah, that seems, when you look at the last, 2 years of Bayley, it's just randomly getting jumped every SmackDown.
You know,
like it happens a lot.
Is that disrespect to Bayley, or is that people are so scared to face her 1v1 they have to jump her?
Oh, that's what it is. She just gets jumped all the time. I mean, she's tough. She's
her situational awareness sucks.
She's tough. She's from San Jose. She can take it. You're right, but her situational awareness should be a lot better. I like Piper Niven a lot. I haven't seen a lot of Piper Niven. Chelsea Green, I don't really have a problem with.
Chelsea Green. Sorry.
Oh, are we doing syllables again? Chelsea Green.
Green.
I don't. I'm sort of immune to the shoehorn angles now that WWE likes to do, right? Where it's sort of like, we don't know what to do. I don't know. Jump them. So fine. Okay, great. If we're building heat that way quickly because we got to do something, okay. It doesn't bother me too much.
I don't know what to do. Hey, kick their ass, cuz.
Right. Just jump me and we'll figure it out later. Okay, great. I don't have a problem with Nia Jax. I know the internet is still going back and forth. I think she's gotten a lot better, like we've talked about here before. I don't think she's dangerous. She does a few things that I'm like, ooh, that could hurt someone. Please, I hope they talked about it first.
I still can't stand her promos.
Still cardboard on the mic. Still having a hard time. I know she's trying. I know she's trying to live up the heel thing too. She's kind of baiting the audience and kind of feeding off of it, whatever. I'm going to say this as a theater person, and I'm not trying to sound mean. I would never talk about anyone's body or appearance. I'm above that. I'm never. And you're into what you're into. And I'm not going to say what I'm into out loud. But Nia Jax's eye makeup if you do that fox look inward and you go too far, you look cross-eyed. So the whole time she's doing this promo, she looks kind of cross-eyed, trying to take her a little serious.
You're not dissing her looks. You're dissing whoever did her makeup.
Whoever did her makeup, and as a theater person, I took this makeup class. If you do that incorrectly and the ratio is off, you look cross-eyed. And it's really bad in a promo we'll see later. Behind the scenes, she's staring this way, and it just was like, I can't take you serious. I'm a badass. I'm gonna kill you. Like, it doesn't get me. And I'm sorry, Nia Jax, they did you dirty. And
Jiminy H. Christmas Professor. I was like, oh
hey,
my
welcome back to Smackdown.
I'm gonna get you, all you. I'm the king of the ring now. And that's not.
Are you looking at me? You're looking at the camera? Who are you looking at?
Are you staring at my eye?
Which one?
My eye? Yeah.
One's looking that way, one's looking that way. I don't know what's going on.
Mikey down.
Look like a damn chameleon.
Holy crap.
So, I'm not trying to be mean, but they did her dirty on that makeup, and that's not her fault.
We blame the makeup people. Nia Jax, you are a lovely individual. Don't hurt us, because you could probably knock us out in a couple of seconds.
No, you crush, and it's not.
Please don't bonsai drop me.
None of that's personal. And tell you what, I could get in line for bonsai drop. That's fine. So let's move on before I can't run for public office.
By the way, shout out to Professor, because this is making the highlight reel at the end of the year now. I'm writing this down.
Best of Biconics.
Be like, how would you describe your channel? Let me show you this clip.
I'm gonna kill you. Which way I looking?
Which way you looking? Oh, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about you. Why? He's looking at you, not me.
So you're trying to kill the cameraman? No, you. But you're looking at the. I'm so confused right now.
Excuse me. Could you look to the right? Yes. Oh, you're looking at me now.
Just tilt your head slightly. There you go. Now we're making eye contact.
If you have a lazy eye, we're not making fun of you. I know that mine turned, so I'm in your camp. I'm just saying. Mikey, go. Mikey, go.
We're going to go because this was fantastic. But ultimately,
we just lost the lazy eye community.
Yeah. This sets up what we're going to get later, which we'll get to it when we get to it. We cut backstage, and then this is where we get the start of AJ Styles might actually retire. I knew better because I watched WWE. This is not they always like to pull these stunts, but AJ's like, I know what I need to do to Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis is like, you have my support. You will be given time because AJ asked for it. And then that's where we go. So then I'm going to pull an Andrew right now, and I'm going to give you the order in which things appeared on the screen and not the things that logically make sense for my brain. So Andrew, I blame you. That's okay. I love you. He's currently watching GCW shows this weekend. So
Sweet.
So logically, the next thing we're going to talk about is we get a singles match, Tommaso Ciampa versus Austin Theory. But this is how it really went down. First, we get Tommaso's entrance. Diet Degeneration X walks into the building. We're still running with that, so I'm like, cool.
Aspartame DX. Carry on.
Yes. Then we cut backstage, and Naomi comes up as Bailey's getting checked out. I was like, Bailey, I love you, but we gotta sell that. We gotta sell that you're hurt more because this was awkward. And also the medical person, I was like, you fail at your job. That's not how you check a shoulder. I should know. I was so mad, but basically Naomi's gonna go talk to Nick Aldis and get a tag team match set up for Naomi and Bailey to go up against Piper and Chelsea later in the evening. And then we go back to the ring where we get Austin Theory's entrance. Still hate this theme song.
Yeah. I think they have better things. I will talk about this the way the match ends. And we talked about this here, I want to say, a while ago. I like Austin Theory and this sort of A-Town Down Under thing that's going on with Grayson Waller and all that. Austin Theory got kind of stuck for about 8 months, right? Where are we going? What are we doing? How are we doing? What are we doing? The Grayson Waller rub, as they say, has been a great angle and worked for me. But we got stuck in it again, right? Like we're kind of in this where are we going, what are we doing place. I liked this match. I enjoyed this match. It was frenetic energy. They hit super hard. One of that double boot moment at the end, they clipped each other. That did not look like it felt good. So they were bringing it to each other really well. I love Ciampa. I
I think you and Ciampa could be brothers. You guys kind of look the same.
We go to the same meetings. We have the same haircut. They took all the momentum out of this match the way they ended it, and I'm not sure who made that decision. But you had this really good match that kind of you let all the air out of it with what you did, because it wasn't believable to me that we'll talk about that is, but it lacked the truth of the thing after all the really solid work that they put in. So I don't think this will get heat the right way, but we'll see where it goes.
I still absolutely despise Austin Theory's entrance music.
I mean, for a while, and
That's just why I'm gonna. That's my comment.
On the whole thing.
Yep.
Well, and then for a while too, the internet, has always consistently talked about it, but for some reason, like 2 weeks ago, poor Def Rebel got caught in the crossfires, and everyone was flaming Def Rebel's theme songs for WWE.
They came out and said, "Sorry, our music sucks, guys. We're just doing our job."
Who makes the music though? Do they get to pick? Do they have like a karaoke band in the back and they just go, give me something that kind of sounds like...
Okay, side tangent real quick, because a producer by the name of Def Rebel makes all the current WWE themes for the superstars and all the rosters.
Okay.
That didn't used to be the case because I don't like a lot of these theme songs for these wrestlers. And I remember my favorite era of the theme songs was when we had CMFO $, is what, how it was spelled, but those were better. And also when NXT had Josiah Williams doing like all the theme songs for the NXT Black and Gold era, and now he's out here killing it, rapping on other wrestlers' theme song. He's responsible for Taya Valkyrie's current theme, which is like the best.
This will make me sound old, but go back to you can go find talent that will make theme songs. Motorhead did Triple H for 10 years.
Way more than 10 years.
I mean, please don't go get Kid Rock, but Kid Rock doing stuff for The Undertaker way back in the day, right? Like, I didn't hate those theme songs.
That was Limp Bizkit.
That was Kid Rock. I'm pretty sure that was Kid Rock.
No, it was the Rollin' when he was American Badass.
Well, okay, that one, yes, but then there was one before that where it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Wasn't it Kid Rock though? Didn't he do a Kid Rock?
Actually, I think you're right.
I'm American Badass, and then like all
that
weird.
I think that was Kid Rock. Yep, that was
weird Midwest gibberish that comes out of Kid Rock's mouth. I'm wearing a hat, like, and it's not even words anymore.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Y'all remember when Disturbed did Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme?
That was nuts.
Stuff
what
like
happened?
That.
I was like, is it because that people are asking for too much money?
They shifted from metal to this. They kind of like, because there's a lot of metal in wrestling.
Sure.
So like, there's a lot of like real deep ties between metal, the community of metal, and WWE.
Sure.
And wrestling in general, but they kind of shifted away from them. There's not a lot of people using a lot of rock or metal anymore, like the regular thing.
Music licensing and TV deals and all that other stuff. I could totally understand. Well, like another promotion that used the Final Countdown not too long ago, and they literally had to pay $200,000 for 2 minutes of the song.
Yeah, some like that, but like there's some like, unless you're cool like Adam Copeland and just happened to know Alter Bridge before they were Alter Bridge,
right? So
just got like permission to use all of their shit.
Go make friends with indie bands and have killer theme songs. Mikey, how's this end?
So this match ends in a weird way because Austin Theory is still fighting Tommaso and all that goodness. And then we, as the audience, and Austin Theory to a certain extent, hears Grayson Waller continue to run his mouth. And Grayson Waller says the thing that was like, the breakup coming really soon. That, Grayson Waller is responsible for giving that, Grayson Waller rubbed the pop to Austin Theory. And he's responsible for the success of where both of them have gone. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Grayson Waller has always kind of been, he puts himself on a high enough pedestal in terms of character-wise. Austin Theory gets wind of this. It's like, bro, what happened? Which, allowed Tommaso Ciampa to hit the most devastating move in all professional wrestling. The surprise roll-up, which allowed Tommaso Ciampa to win. And Grayson and Austin are kind of arguing as we kind of end this whole segment with this match. I'm like, this was inevitable. I didn't think we were going to get here this soon, but it was inevitable.
I think that's the thing, is we're here so soon. I kind of like the two of them running as a heel faction, and now we're breaking them up just because we want someplace new to go. But after a match where they were hitting super hard, some of those chops from Ciampa were like, oh my God. And Austin Theory is throwing some knees and other things. Like, they were hitting each other ridiculous hard. And then that happened out of nowhere. I don't believe that Austin Theory could hear that well. There's no way. I could barely hear it with the microphones there. I don't believe that Grayson Waller heard Wade Barrett in the queue. Like, my suspension of disbelief is like, you heard him talking into a microphone about a thing, and then out of nowhere, you took it that personal to say that out loud. I mean, that's junior high stuff. It lost a lot of the emphasis that I think it could have had, as opposed to like cutting an interview, or I think they could have heightened that in a way that made more sense than just sort of, look, made an accident, and then that was it. So
we are probably
at least we know who our new tag team champions are going to be.
Probably. Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. Is like this probably tells me whenever we get the championship match, I'm pretty sure DIY will become the face for the tag team division on SmackDown, which, is long overdue in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm like,
sure.
Then what was the point of having A-Town Down Under win those things at
But like,
WrestleMania?
why did you have all these angles, and why did we do so much this direction just to blow it up like this now? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they've been kind of planting the seeds for this little breakup for a minute since Elimination Chamber.
Sure.
So this is not like it's like, oh, why are they all of a sudden breaking up? Like, no, this has been like planned since like Chamber, when Grayson Waller decided not to help Austin Theory as he got beat up by Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
I think so, yeah.
So like this is like, it's been there. I think they're just finally pulling the trigger on it.
I guess it's just the way they're doing it just seems a little shoehorned and like, I don't know where, but nah.
But regardless, this still was an entertaining match despite the way that it ended. So it seems that we're going to get A-Town Down Under and DIY colliding very soon for those titles in some capacity, which I'm excited for. We cut backstage where we see, finally, after being drafted to SmackDown, we see the first televised appearance of Miss Blair Davenport. I'm excited to have her just run roughshod in Vince division. She's going to kill you. It's going to be great. But I love that this was only a little bit of her and her character, because she's talking to Nick Aldis. Naomi comes into frame, apologizes for interrupting, and Blair kind of cuts her off too. And basically I'm like, ooh, Naomi versus Blair down the line would be fantastic. But I thought this interaction between Naomi and Blair was great, which then sets up that Naomi gets Nick Aldis's blessing. There is going to be a tag team match with Bayley and Naomi versus Piper and Chelsea later in the evening. And then we move from that scene, still in frame, LA Knight comes in and wants to talk to Nick Aldis. And so they sit down, and then this is how this backstage segment ends. I'm excited for more Blair on my television screen.
Yeah. Again, soap opera.
Yeah.
More soap opera stuff. I don't want to say I'm worried. They pulled that trigger on LA Knight early in that big getting over run. We could say that first 14 months of it's LA Knight time, and then it's kind of tapered since. So now we had the AJ Styles stuff. Sure, we've kind of pivoted away from that. We have a very interesting spot in a hallway later, which we'll talk about, which I don't hate, but I have my thoughts. I wonder where we're going with LA Knight. I wonder what we're trying to do. If they want to get him in more of a title contending place, if they want to get him out of the mid card, which they did for a while and now sort of jumping between the two. I really hope it's not the Vince McMahon effect of you're too old, why give it to you thing. I would like to think that Paul Levesque is above that and sees that dude's over with the fans and they want to push for him, or if they're letting it cook some. I don't know. That's all speculation, but we'll see.
Well, we are not quite done with Mr. LA Knight, because when we come back from commercial, Kayla is outside in the hallway, and LA Knight exits Nick Aldis's office. And Kayla, I love you, but we got to banter more with the talent, because you could tell that LA was waiting for her to like banter back and forth before he kind of took over a little bit.
Yeah, she kind of shut down a little. We've seen her go back and forth a little here and there.
Can go back and forth. Like, all our backstory correspondents across the brads. Kayla for SmackDown, Kathy for Raw, and then for NXT we have a couple backstage correspondents. But Mackenzie, they do very well bantering, and I was like, Kayla didn't really banter with LA Knight, but when LA Knight is talking to Kayla, we get that LA Knight is calling out Logan Paul. Logan Paul's not here tonight. This is setting up for feud for that, United States Championship, which hopefully will take us to SummerSlam, where LA Knight can finally win a singles championship. And then LA Knight gets interrupted by Carmelo Hayes. I wanted so much more for you, Carmelo, but you flubbed.
Oh, he fucked it up
He messed it up, and LA Knight called him out on it.
Oh, so you want to face LA Knight? Well, if I wanted to face myself, I was looking in the mirror. I mean, told look a ball.
I was like, damn it, Carmelo, we were so close.
And as soon as he said it, you can see Carmelo's face go, oh,
I know, I could see Carmelo's brain be like, damn, I messed that up. But he continued through and finished the scene. I'm excited for Carmelo and LA Knight to go to blows, but damn, Carmelo, we were so close.
That's what I was going to say. What's interesting is they played that one. They didn't do a retake. They didn't go, hey, let's shoot it again.
Right?
They would no, we're going to let Carmelo look that way. Like, oh, that's rough.
Well, I think what they're trying to show is, like, I think with Melo is, yeah, you might have been the top baller on NXT, but you got to remember this is where the big boys are now. So you got to step your game up even more.
But why?
Because he left as a heel. So I'm thinking they're trying to, like, show that, like, you can't just run roughshod like you did in NXT up on the main roster. And I think trying to show that as a character thing for him. Like, I think if there's like, you got to step your game up even more. We're just waiting for him to step his game up.
But why make him look like a chump? LA Knight straight up calls you trash, and you go, yeah, he kind of botched it. That's because we know how good he is, and from what I've heard from the NXT folks, and Mikey, you can direct me as well, like, has some moments on the mic, but isn't the strongest and has been working on it. Some promos have hit back in the day, but the recorded promos like this one have never been a strong suit for him, if I remember correctly. Correct?
No, and I also think it depends on who Carmelo is bouncing off. And again, we here at I want to preface this statement by saying we here at BC Wrestle Pod love our wrestlers, and we don't normally talk about the intricacies and the nuances of like race and things like that. But a lot of Carmelo's feuds, and he's more naturally fit to go back and forth on the mic with someone who understands like the type of character and the personality that Carmelo is.
Oh, sure.
Not to say that LA Knight doesn't, but like the way that Carmelo and Trick would go back and forth on the mic, or even to a certain extent, Carmelo and Ilya went back and forth on the mic, was fantastic.
Sure.
LA Knight I would be intimidated to be in a promo segment with LA Knight because this man just exudes charisma. But to kind of bring up Minnie's point here, Carmelo needs to find a way to kind of evolve his presentation when it comes to the banter and the back and forth. I was a little perplexed. I'm like, this man is a 2-time North American champion, 2-time NXT champion. Like, this man has accolades in NXT. I'm happy that this regime doesn't want to be like, oh yeah, NXT never existed for these folks. But Carmelo, if you are going to be feuding with LA for a little bit, if you're in a promo segment, we got to work on it, because LA Knight will eat you up if you are not careful.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk this to death because we got a whole lot of things to get to. But the folks that go heads up with the promos and nail it are the folks that have that listening improv training. I'm listening to everything you say, and I'm going to react in the moment immediately based on what you say. And you could argue that LA Knight is one of the best at that. No one's gone heads up with him scene-wise, probably because LA Knight went to LA and took all those acting and improv classes. Cody Rhodes kind of has that. There's a few others. Street Profits absolutely have that. When you say something to them, they'll throw it right back at you. There's a few others, right? As opposed to, I got to read off the script or completely improvise because they can't read. I'm not calling anybody out, but I know who you are and have seen you. So, yeah. That's tough to
Baron Corbin. Sorry.
I didn't. You said that 6'6" man can't read. I didn't.
We have video evidence of you at the way beginning of BC WrestlePod called Baron Corbin out in his lack of mic skills.
Oh, that's still true. I'm just, Minnie said he can't read. I didn't go that far. I just said dude's cardboard on the mic.
I kind of was. I sneezed, so I missed that part of the conversation. I thought we were just talking about bad promo skills.
I mean,
I sneezed, and then I just heard something about bad promo, so I was like, I'm not naming names. I was like, name.
I mean, that's what happens when you sneeze. You tend to miss some certain parts. Just like you could have sneezed at this next match, and I forgot this was on here until I look at my notes. I was just like, And I was mad because actually the match was really good. But we get Apollo Cruz, who's finally back on SmackDown television after who knows how long. And he's taking on Andrade, who's also kind of just coasting right now.
How'd you forget about this? This was the soap opera match of the night. This was all the overacting. This was it.
This was okay. But to be fair, this SmackDown was watched in tandem with Rampage and Collision. So
that's fair. You're watching all the things at the same time. Yeah.
Or like conjuncturally after another, but this match was really good. I really like
Apollo, I forgot you're on the roster, Cruz, and Andrade, American Idol.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I noticed that SmackDown and WWE dropped the idolo part because I was like, ooh, probably copyright infringement. But
then also I Am a Ghost people were there, Phantasmal or whatever the fuck they're called.
Fantastica, no, Phantasma.
I'm so tired of those guys. I've been seeing them too damn much with the goddamn LWO feud. They need a break.
I'm mad because now it's just like, oh great, we went from one Latino faction feuding with another Latino faction, and now it's said Latino faction dealing with Latino superstar, aka Mr. Charlotte Flair.
Why is it always Mexican on Mexican crime? Like, why can't we just do it?
Violence.
They should go after somebody who is not also Hispanic. Don't go after Final Testament. That's an actual just death sentence.
Why don't they just Final Testament is on Raw, and they're currently feuding with the European boys of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
What's another faction on SmackDown?
LA Knight needs to show Phantasma how to get to AJ Styles' neighborhood, and then they could just go mess up all the white people. That was easy. LA Knight figured it out.
No, lest we forget, when we saw how Jack AJ was, I was like, I don't know if I want to mess with AJ.
No, yeah, that's true too.
Those pythons will crush me, but I might actually like
Santos and Phantasma jumped the shark when they did that gangster promo in the back of an Olive Garden.
Oh my god!
Ever since then,
yes,
it's been sort of these soap opera promos and very straightforward.
They should just every time they come on screen, just add that filter that makes it more like grainy or like
exactly,
and then put just. Telonava or something.
We'll talk about the soap opera in a little bit, but my quick thoughts on the actual match. This was a good match. I forgot
match.
I missed Apollo Crews on my television screen.
Powerful flippy boys doing powerful flippy boys.
These two work together so well. Andrade looks great. Now that I'm gonna say this articulately, I feel that at another promotion he was incredibly dehydrated and overworked, but now that he sort of has his weight under him and he looks way more comfortable. He might not be as cut, but he's moving just as fast and just as strong in some of the stuff that's in here. Going off the top rope and Cruz eating all that weight to catch him, that running knee into the turnbuckle, violent. They worked great together. I had a sad feeling that I was like, I'm really glad to see Cruz again. I've liked Cruz. I feel like it's, once every 6 months we see him for a minute or two.
It makes me sad.
What gave me hope was in a promo and a half later, comes back, which means we're thinking about him, which is great. Is okay. You were gonna use this guy, good, because dude's a specimen.
And let's not make him a Nigerian prince like the last time.
Please,
yes, I brought that back up. I was like, we all lived through that. We are not going to.
To me, the moment Apollo Crews, like, it wasn't even the Nigerian prince bit. The moment that Apollo Crews, when his credibility on the main roster got shut down, is when he got launched across to the ring mid backflip by Braun Strowman, just throwing his legs out.
Oh yeah,
y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Right then and there, I was like, oh, there goes Apollo Crews' career.
It's unfortunate for sure. The match itself was great.
Dope.
Well, matches like this, he's gonna get. How old is he? Do we know? Is he?
No, let's look
Quick
it up.
to the Google.
To the Google.
Not that age matters. Excuse me. Not that age matters. I really hope he's not way up there. I hope he's young enough to where they can still give him some run, and they're not going to try and talk themselves out of it. Because
36.
Yep.
Perfect. Please keep him in there and keep him running and doing things for a while.
Baron Corbin's 39. Go figure.
Akira Tozawa's 38.
I know. He don't look it, though. Anyways, wow. We're talking about ages. So let's get into the soap opera for the ages. Again, we need a grainy filter. We need a voiceover when this happens. But as this match is over, I mean, Angel gets involved in this match a little bit, which allows Andrade to win. Andrade's not happy about it because as all of Legado is at the entrance ramp and Andrade walks, he blows past them, which then we fast forward later into the show where Angel's upset at Andrade for making him look like a square. And then Apollo Cruz is like, oh, come here. You're about to get this 10-piece chicken nugget combo with these fists, and starts like beating up on Angel before refs have to come in. So I was just like, ooh,
Love it.
I'm here for this.
I think it's exciting. I think it's going to work. I don't know where we're going. I'm interested to see if this Andrade Apollo comes back.
Make them a tag team so we get more Apollo
Make
Cruz.
them some sort of something so they can wreck house as well. If we're going to push them. I don't know what we're doing with Legado de Fantasma. I'm a little this, and we've talked about this in the past with factions of people of color, right? You use them for a while and then they get stuck because you don't know where to put them and storylines where we're going. And but I don't know if that's booking. I don't know if that's just not understanding where we're going or how to use folks, but it's unfortunate. I hope they get out of that.
I hope so too. But we go from a small scale telenovela to the biggest Smackdown telenovela. So we're going to combine these two parts. So we have, the knockoff Weekend in Solo Sikoa, as he's literally just like the Weekend now. Like, look up a whole picture of the Weekend in the Blinding Lights music video. That is what it's emulating.
That's all I can see.
We have Wish version of the Weekend, Solo Sikoa, is talking to Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. I am not calling them the Bloodline. I'm going to refer to them as their actual tag team name, the Gorillas of Destiny, which has still the most bangingest theme song ever. But the Weekend, Solo is talking to them, and Paul Heyman comes up. Paul Heyman deserves an Emmy, Oscar, everything. But we'll talk about it when he gets in the ring. But Paul Heyman says something that I've been critiquing this new version of the Bloodline for the longest time. When Roman was there, as much as we hated him and Roman was running roughshod, there was a sense of strategy for the most part and actual meticulous, thought to put behind all the things.
Sure.
Solo and, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, Solo and the Gorillas of Destiny are just being brutal for the sake of being brutal, without any rhyme or reason, without any finesse to it. And Solo looked like he was about to beat up Paul Heyman, but thankfully Kevin Owens' music hits and saves him. It's like, I need you to go handle that right now. So
yeah,
Paul Heyman, blink twice if you need more help.
So the Gorillas of Destiny and the Samoan Weekend.
The Samoan Weekend.
Oh my God! What sort of church band night is that?
It sounds like Thursday, not even Wednesday night. This is Thursday night, the local bar down the street that has Mike Night.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, to go full Michael Caine. Some men just want to watch the world burn, right? Like they're just there to crush everybody. And I could again, we've talked about this at length. Paul Heyman is arguably one of the better actors of all promotions, right? Paul Heyman is on impulse and truthful and winging it, and
he's so good at playing a simp.
He's top 5 best simps all time. But that's a different podcast.
No, you saw I was going original Bloodline. Yes, my tribal chief.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not the face.
That's what he looked like.
I mean, he's up there with Paul Bearer when there's a lot of jokes per second. But
so good.
So great. And to be a manager, to be a good manager, you got to be a good actor. You got to be a big, huge actor. You got to be truthful all the time. You got to breathe. You got to make eye contact, which a few managers in other promotions don't do, and which is why they fall flat, in my opinion. I kind of like where we're going with Kevin Owens and the way this thing unfolds after that. I actually really enjoyed where we went with this. I loved that Paul Heyman got to do the vulnerability thing with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens acting chops as well.
Well, let's talk about that because this was my favorite segment of the whole entire night.
Sure. Yeah.
Kevin Owens comes out. He recaps what happened at King Queen of the Ring because we're still baffled. I was like, Randy's shoulder wasn't down all the way, but LOL. But KO has unfinished business. Paul Heyman comes out to interrupt. And basically, without uttering the words, Paul Heyman needs Kevin Owens to help him keep Solo and the Tonga twins, the Gorillas of Destiny, in check. And KO is like, no, you don't get to come to me and ask me for help. let me just run down everything that you and the Bloodline have done to not just me, but to other superstars, but mostly just me. You have knocked me out. You have cuffed me and given me lots of super kicks. You ran me over with the golf cart, which is still my favorite spot ever when Roman and KO during the Rumble, during the pandemic era, had that match. Mm-hmm. And it was almost my top match of the year until Paul Heyman fumbled with the handcuff key. Let's see, forget. But KO's like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to back off from Solo and, the Gorillas of Destiny. In fact, I'm going to instigate and we're going to fight all the time. And then Paul Heyman gets upset. And I felt that in this angry Paul Heyman moment, he just let out all the frustrations post-Mania that he's been keeping and bottled up. And he basically, he feels underappreciated. He hates that Solo's not listening to him. He's losing control of the Bloodline. Roman Reigns is probably going to beat him up when he gets back because the Bloodline, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Even though Roman and the Usos would run roughshod all over the place in the Bloodline, there was still an air of some sort of class when it came to it. It's comparing and I can't believe I'm using these words. Under Roman's leadership, the Bloodline is like a mafia. It's very organized. There's a rhyme and reason. Whereas Solo and the Gorillas of Destiny, they're acting more like a common street gang where it's just like they are being reactive instead of proactive, whereas Roman and the Usos were proactive in everything that they did.
Sure. I will counter that by saying, if you go full Godfather 1 and 2, and if you make Michael the head of the family, Michael's gonna kill everybody on the first day. Fine. Who's our competition? Everybody dies. So there's still a little bit of that bad guy mafia no class versus mafia with class attitude. I'm still a little down that we're not using the full range of Solo. I think Solo can have a little bit more to do here. I'm wondering what they're waiting to pull the trigger on and buying time for. I love that Gorillas of Destiny are here. One of them had a better entrance than the other, but we don't need to rehash any of that.
Okay, remember during this match, and it threw me off, one of them, that was like their in-ring debut.
Yeah, basically.
And like in an actual match. It was just like super oh yeah, by the way, this is his first WWE match, guys.
Yeah, they're just kind of, hey, it's over. Okay, great. I will say, and I got echoes of what we saw from another promotion during the week. If you're gonna have someone randomly back you up, you got to make it look super cool like this did. Out of nowhere, it was like, oh, Street Profits and Kevin Owens are going to clean house. They have something in common. Great. Bang. And it made absolute sense. Not to jump the shark. I don't know if we're there yet or not. But Paul Heyman, Kevin Owens, kind of tire. Solo comes out with the Gorillas of Destiny. There's a moment here. Street Profits come in. The fight is on. And then we get into this match, which I thought was really great. I'll watch Street Profits all day. They're still probably top 2, top 3 tag teams working, period. Like, they're so much fun. I don't know how D'Angelo gets any of the height he gets being a large. That's an offensive lineman doing flips onto the ground. Like, holy crap.
This was a really fun match. Of course, the Bloodline, aka the Gorillas of Destiny, do pick up the win here. I know I've seen some people be like, I prefer Tama Tonga and Solo being in a tag team, but it's like, but for those of us, the elitists, as I've been called, those of us that watch New Japan, I'm like, I like the Gorillas of Destiny. They work as a good tag team. They really, really do. It's just that I'm chopping it up to having them to get acclimated to the WWE style of wrestling, because New Japan lets you just go balls to the wall crazy, as we have seen in other promotions.
I think they're just waiting. So to kind of go back to what John was saying on what they're waiting on for Solo, I think they're waiting for him to develop more. Like, he has a presence, but for his presence to be bigger, it's also one of the reasons why Jacob Fatu has been signed with the company. He is there, and they're just waiting. Their big concern with him is if they bring up Jacob Fatu now, he's going to outshine Solo Sikoa. So they're waiting for Solo to develop more of this big, I'm the big boss energy, and just like get that presence out there. So I think that's what they're waiting on for Solo. Then once they get that, they're gonna start letting him just kind of do his thing. And it's also why I think Solo's not wrestling right now, because they want Solo to be with Jacob Fatu, and for the Girls of Destiny to come be like two different little tag teams within the faction itself.
I think, are we building for a year or two from now to have this Bloodline 1, Bloodline 1A feud thing?
I think it's gonna end up being the Usos and Roman with like maybe Sami Zayn versus the new Bloodline as like old Bloodline versus new Bloodline faction warfare. Whoever wins stays, whoever loses has to leave thing.
If one promotion can bring back a superstar in his late 50s, this one can bring back Rikishi. Please put Rikishi into this some way.
Dancing Rikishi.
Please, Dancing Rikishi. Please hit the music. Do the tribute to Brian Christopher. Please do something.
But I think that's what the plan is, because I've been seeing a bunch of stuff everywhere that's like it's The Rock slowly pulling the strings behind the scenes, that he was not actually like letting Roman rule things. He was just saying that, and he's doing like the evil politician thing that they want Cody Rhodes to do, and he's actually the real leader of the Bloodline. Once Roman left, he took everything over, and it's gonna become this big faction warfare between old Bloodline, new Bloodline. It's that Survivor Series or something.
Maybe. I don't know if I would believe that, though, but
if it finally ends this stupidly long Bloodline story, sure.
Oh, they're not going to let this end. They're going to let this go forever until one of them retires. They're just going to let it go, man.
This is the new MWO. I forgot about that.
This is going to be... There's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 iterations of it. This is going to be that Bullet Club of this generation, right? It's just going to go for 30, 40, 50 years, 100 different ways.
I'm about to say, how many Samoans can they put into this, but I realize actually how big that family is.
There are so many. There are so many.
They could recruit so many cousins and folks and families. And you saw that family tree. There's a lot of people there.
I mean, we have Jacob Fatu. There's also, Zilla Fatu is out on the independent. There's a lot of Samoans. We're just going to put it in that capacity. But yeah, Guerrillas of Destiny pick up the victory here as they should. Poor Street Profits can't catch a break. But I like this match. This was fantastic. So we go to commercial. We come back. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill looking fire in those outfits. They're talking about, how Candice and Indy thought they could step to them. And they found out, King and Queen of the Ring that they couldn't. And Indy comes in and basically continues the storyline. So it seems that Bianca...
Close.
So close yet so far. I think the wrestling...
We got to figure out these. We can't have the reviews be as long as the thing we're reviewing.
To be fair, we've been going on tangents because we're getting it out of our system.
We got lost with the, cross-eyed, I'm going to take you out.
Yeah, that added a few minutes. That's me.
That was fantastic. That's hilarious.
I think, Solo Sokoa, aka Discount the Weekend, heard what I was saying about him and came to my house.
Dude, I looked it up. I looked up his new look and I looked up the Weekend from the music video.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh no, yeah, he looks like he's performing at the Super Bowl and he's lost in his own set. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I was like, holy shit! Solo probably saw the music video and went, I want to be like that.
Man,
I don't like the look on him. He looks really weird.
So all to say, where we last left off in this soap opera,
right?
It seems that Indy and Candice are going to be feuding with Bianca and Jade for a little bit, which is cool. That means we get the women's tag team championships, but let's not put them on the pre-show, anymore. We'll just say about that, but we'll see what happens.
And then
we continue with women's action because this is where we get into the main wrestling event of the evening. Bayley and Naomi taking on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Commentary made sure to let us all know and to basically tell me how this match was going to end, that there might be some, championship implications if Piper and Chelsea win this match. And as soon as Corey Graves said that, I was just like, I know where this is going.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Great match. I had fun watching this. Naomi is getting cleaner and cleaner and better every week since Naomi's come back. That rear view looks like it hurts. She went out, she jumped over the top rope, and Chelsea and Piper Niven were there to catch her, and that looked like it was almost painful, not quite there. She almost missed it. She got enough height for sure, but it looked like her whole leg got Chelsea right in the nose and the face, and then Piper was just a hair late catching her, and they kind of had a clunky fall. That kind of scared me for a minute. Outside of that, this was fun. I enjoyed watching this. I again, you're right. The ending was a little telegraphed for sure. There was something in here that Naomi did that scared the hell out of me, and I can't remember what it was. But her and Bailey worked great together. This was a great match. Book more women.
Piper Niven's looking really good too.
Yeah.
Like, she's looking like she's getting quicker. Piper Niven's starting to look really, really, really really good now.
Was she injured or was she just gone?
They just didn't utilize her, which
Man,
is wild to say.
They're lucky she stayed because she's fantastic. Not that it's a great time for women in wrestling and there's slim pickings on booking and whatever, and that's a shame. But man, she's been great for a long time.
This is a fun match. You know, Naomi almost had Piper and Chelsea, but then we got to the end of the match in which they reversed it, and then Piper and Chelsea pinned Naomi to pick up the victory. And as it was stated on social media later in the night or early the following morning on Saturday, that at Clash of the Castle, Bailey will be defending her title against Piper Niven. So that should be a fun one. So we have 2 matches already set. We have that match, and then we have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre for Damian's title at Clash of the Castle, which is in Scotland. I was like, yep, they're gonna put all the Scots. Now if we get a Joe Hendry appearance, my life will be made.
Are there any random
God damn it.
Are there any good I want to say good. That's not what I mean. Are there any old school Scottish wrestlers that can make a cool promo or like a cool like surprise entrance?
They're still alive? I don't know.
I know that's what my problem was. Is I was like, oh them. Oh no, they've all passed away.
My first thought was Rowdy Piper.
Well, Rowdy, and I thought of 1 or 2 others, and I was like, oh, they died. Oh, and they passed. So I was trying to think of someone, but
be like, I'm old.
What'd you do to your mic?
Was that too loud?
Yeah.
That was.
I noticed, like when I'm looking at the sound on the bell, like my little squigglers are so tiny, and I was like,
"You're peaking it right now."
Yeah,
oh, shit.
Now you're super loud. While Minnie figures that out, we had this match, but again, pulling an Andrew here, we had Bailey and Naomi make their entrance. Then we had yes. Then we had a backstage.
69.
Yeah, of course.
Giggity.
Giggity. Then we had a backstage segment with Michin talking about, is AJ going to retire? Well, AJ hasn't really been talking to us. And then, yes, Professor.
Michin looking good right now.
I'm mad. I'm like, Keith Lee, you're very lucky.
So
man.
Go back to the very beginning of this episode when John said he does not going to tell us what his type is. So he just gave it away.
I have a few types. And
the type name is Michin.
This is on the internet forever.
We're going to talk about it off camera because I am very interested to hear this, but this will not be a recorded thing. But
I might have a thing for being crushed. If
said it, not me. But, one other person in this interrupts Michin that might suit you. Nia Jax walks into frame, and it seems that we're going to be setting up Nia Jax and Michin.
Who is she looking at? What's this deal? And it's not even her fault. You watch they put the camera on her left. They put Michin on her right, and she's trying to look this way, so she's not looking that way. And oh, poor thing. She looked like a marionette puppet that broke.
That's a take. A marionette puppet.
Poor child. And she's trying to be big and bold and huge and crowned. God bless her.
Not even her own fault.
Not even her fault.
We love you, Nia Jax.
Yes, we love you.
Nia Jax, you're doing great.
But Michin versus Nia down the road, who knows? Excited for that. So then we get into the thing that closed out SmackDown. We had the in-ring retirement of AJ Styles. AJ was crying. He had, the Gallows and Anderson there. They were doing the whole thing. AJ looked very sad, which made me kind of sad. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I think I know where this is going. AJ has Cody Rhodes come out. Cody says some nice words. AJ and Cody do the thing where he lifts the arm like 4 corners of the ring so everybody can do so. And then the swerve, not Strickland, happens where AJ attacks Cody. And I was just like, they pulled a Mark Henry again.
The funny thing is, I saw somewhere, I don't remember, and I don't remember hearing it, but I'm hoping this is true. Somebody during a moment of silence during the whole segment yelled out Mark Henry.
Really?
I think I remember seeing that somewhere.
Which moment of silence?
I don't remember. I remember just reading it that somebody yelled out Mark Henry during the bit, and I'm hoping it's true.
Oh wait, let me listen. Hang on.
while the professor looks at that, this was exactly where I thought it was going to go. And I'm just like, yeah, no. I mean, I figured that AJ wasn't really going to be retiring,
Ooh.
but this was still a fun swerve that they did this. But it seems that AJ and Cody are going to continue to feud. And what I'm hoping is whereas the build towards backlash between AJ and Cody was more on respect, I can't wait to see Cody get disrespectful and start attacking AJ left and right and beating him up too. Because that would be fantastic.
I might be crazy. But I think you're right, Minnie. Right in the part where they're doing the sort of quiet coyote kissing thing, you can hear someone going, "Mark Henry, Mark," and like chanting it. Yeah, I can kind of.
Oh, that is hilarious.
There's a dude. Oh, I might be going full conspiracy theory right now, and I can't show you on my phone, or they'll take this video down. But there's a dude with his backwards hat. If you get a chance to watch it, right when they cut back from coyote kissing thing, there's a guy with a backwards hat, and you could see him yelling, "Mark Henry," right behind him. Ooh,
That is hilarious.
That's funny if that's true.
But
I
yeah,
don't know. Anyway,
AJ attacks Cody.
So AJ attacks Cody. There's a part of me that went, I didn't believe he was retiring because we've seen how great shape he's in. We've seen the great matches that he has. There was something about the build up to this that gave it away. You did too much. You had the, I'm going to go ask for extra time. I'll give you extra time. You had the backstage segment. You had another backstage segment with LA Knight and Cody Rhodes. Like, you had so many things. You kind of played your hand. Fine, I get it. It's a soap opera. You're going to. In soap operas, you know what's happening. You know, oh, they're going to break up. Oh, they're going to find out this. Oh, they're going to... So, as far as a soap opera goes, yeah, I knew it was coming. And now it's sort of, how are you going to do it? I feel bad for Cody Rhodes always getting beat up in these $10,000 suits. My God, that suit he's wearing is gorgeous. What kind of gives it away is AJ Styles is not dressed up to retire. AJ Styles is dressed up to fight in a suit, and Cody Rhodes is dressed up to look gorgeous. So that's tough. I don't hate this. What's hard is, where are we going? What are we doing? You already found out you got to go to the back of the line. You already found out that you're sort of stuck in mid-card purgatory without this. What story do we tell with AJ Styles being more heel than heel? I mean, him and LA Knight seem like they're done. Him and Cody gonna keep going at it for this thing. Even if Cody wins and defends it, does that mean AJ I don't think AJ wants to retire as a heel. Where are we going? Why do it like this? Going into the summer and SummerSlam and all these other things. Like, I think you could have sat on this a little longer. I think you could have done this at a pay-per-view or done this at a bigger event sort of thing and then really get the news of it. Like, oh my God, that just happened. I don't know. It left me with more questions. I don't hate it. I question the timing. Am I off? Am I totally off?
I feel like they did this the wrong way. I actually feel like they should have done the fake retirement angle again. Like, to be honest with you, it worked so well with Mark Henry because it was super, super, super unexpected. When AJ just did the thing last week of like, I want a title shot. Well, you can't. So now they're just like, well, I'm going to fake retire now to get a title shot. Like, she just went to Cody's house and beat him up at his house.
More home invasion things?
That would have been better than fake retirement angle. Like, if they want to push Cody versus AJ, they could have done this in a whole better way.
Yeah, and I think, again, they ran into the problem, too, because since Gunther won King of the Ring, he's going to be going up against either Damian or Drew, whoever walks out of Clash at the Castle as the champion going into SummerSlam, because we have Clash at the Castle, Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam. So that should be very interesting. But since Gunther won and he's on Raw, so he'll be facing Damian or Drew, we got to figure out, okay, Cody's definitely going to defend this title at SummerSlam, but who should be the person to do so? And I don't hate that it's AJ, but the problem is that now we have 3 pay-per-view cycles to get through to get to SummerSlam, because I'm like, you're going to extend this. My biggest worry is that they're going to make this a 3-month-long feud, which is really weird because we want longer storytelling, but that is a lot of pay-per-views to get through between Clash at the Castle and Money in the Bank before we end up getting into SummerSlam for that match. So if this is a miniature feud in order to get somebody else to face Cody, then sure. But then again, you just had AJ. What I'm hoping is that this ends up being where the build to Backlash was that AJ and Cody respected each other. Now that AJ is fed up with all that and he's being, not the nicest person and dishonorable, what I'm hoping is that we continue to get that AJ, but also hopefully this gives Cody an opportunity to lean into literally Homelander territory without the murder and the bloodshed, like from the boys. I want Cody to get an edge and be like, oh, okay, so you're going to beat me up? All right, it's on site next time we see each other, and Cody just jumps from him in the parking lot or something.
That could be. I think that might, if they want to do the whole get hard thing, so Cody's a bit more of the American nightmare, not the American politician look. I get that. Again, I don't mind the fake retirement thing. For those of us who remember the Mark Henry thing, fine. I think they were trying to echo it in a way. I think it sounds like producing at the top made this decision. It doesn't sound like AJ made this decision. Does that make sense? I'm sure that AJ was sort of like, yeah, okay, I'll go along with it, as opposed to like really having a say in the storyline. But again, I'll probably never know. Yeah, and now we're in. I haven't said this about SmackDown in a long time. Now I want to watch. Now I'm like, oh, okay, where are we going?
Now we have an excuse for us three knuckleheads to get together every week.
Exactly. You got me. I'm in on your soap opera. All right, now I got to tune in next week. And we didn't say that for a long time, right? There was a lot of times where it was like, okay, great. And you could talk yourself out of it, circling all the way back to everything behind the scenes and everything that we know and everything that's coming out and investigations and everything else. And you could be like, I'm not watching that. Now it's like, okay, I acknowledge that. I know that. I'm aware of that. I'm not disassociating the two, but I want to see where they're going for the sake of the storyline.
Definitely. Well, Cody getting beat up is what ends SmackDown. So we reached the end. So before Solo Sikoa comes back to my house again. And
you get the weekend at your house? That's great.
Well, it's not the weekend that I was hoping for, but let's give our empanada ratings. From beginning to end, and I will go first. I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10 for me on the empanada scale.
Sure.
I don't know what it was. I think now that we're kind of done with King and Queen in the Ring and spending all our time and energy on that, we are moving forward towards the summer. So again, I love that SmackDown has become our, soap opera universe, which honestly, I'm not mad at because this is the right crew to tackle SmackDown like that. Yeah. I thought pretty much almost every single match was really, really fun, entertaining, really good. I love the over dramaticness of some of these storylines. Though I do have my critiques. I was not tricked by AJ's fake retirement, but now I'm worried that we're going to just drag this feud out, which is very unfortunate for both men. Also, like going about it the wrong way, even though we planted the seeds, I'm hoping that we don't break up A-Town Down Under and like really quickly, but the seeds are there. And I just hope that some of our, wrestlers and our tag teams, there needs to be a direction. And I feel that's where SmackDown is missing with some of these folks, is that we seem to be looking in multiple directions, but we got to start picking one and start heading towards it. Cause literally SummerSlam is the ultimate stop. So we were going to see what the summer of SmackDown brings us, but I give this a 7 out of 10. I thought this was a fun show.
Minnie, you want to go? You want me to go?
I give this a solid soap opera out of 10 because it was nice and soapy. 7. I don't know where I was going with that. That's normal.
Do you hear the words that come out of your mouth?
Absolutely not. There's just the first things that I think about what I say and then just come out. And sometimes they're good. Sometimes I sound like I can't say that word on the internet. So a dumbass. There we go. There's a better app description of that description. I give it a solid 7.
Sure.
It was a fun watch, entertaining. Some spots made me question why the hell I still watch this. Other times I'm like, you know what? This is why I still watch this.
Sure.
Still better than Raw. So that luchador can, suck that.
I know. We got a lot. We'll talk off camera because there's a lot of the feelings that I had. But Professor, what do you give this week's SmackDown?
As a soap opera, it's 9 out of 10 empanadas. This is a soap opera. I know what's coming. I know what you're gonna do. How are you gonna get there? You're telegraphing a lot. And as a soap opera, fantastic. As a wrestling show, you don't want to telegraph that much because then, like we saw, you kind of undercut the AJ Styles thing. You sort of undercut wherever we're going with Phantasma. You kind of undercut where we're going with the women's matches. I already know next week that Grayson Waller is going to lose because of something Austin Theory does. Like, I know what's coming. So, as a wrestling show, yeah, solid 7.5. We're right in that wheelhouse of that. Above average, approaching greatness. I think you got to book the women a little better. I can give you a little more points for that. The promos were solid for the most part, like we said. I think if there was, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes more wrestling, this should be an 8 out of 10. But we kind of leaned a little more on the film stuff, the promo stuff. And I'm not deducting points for Solo the Weekend, but I'm tempted to. So next time, if we keep seeing this, I'm going to take points off for such a thing. Unless they go full in on walking through mirrors. If he does a mirror entrance, then I'm going to give him all the points in the world.
Same. I might actually be behind it.
Be like, you're in on the joke. Okay, great. That's
Samoan
fine.
Weekend. I love it. Boys, thank you so much for being here. I have missed this crew, and now that we're past Saudi Arabia, now I feel confident that we can get back into reviewing it. And we have we have like 3 weeks until Clash at the Castle, so that should be fun. I can't wait to review that with these folks here. But from us here at the Friday Night Faction Review, as well as all the rest of the folks here at BC Wrestle Pod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic. More importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish the story. Your story. It matters, truly. We will catch you next week, but until then, ta-ta for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.